Hi, I'm Elise, and I go to Albertus Magnus High School in New York.
My name is Michaela Broussard, and I go to Academy of the Holy Angels in New Jersey.
Okay, so Jeanette, you've experienced both Catholic and public school, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yes. So what school do you go to now?
I go to Clarkstown High School Senior South, which is in New York.
I think that service is definitely more emphasized in the curriculum because, personally for our school, we have to do 20 hours of service every year. And being a Dominican school, one of the orders of the Catholic Church, it really emphasizes the 4 pillars, which are, for the Dominican high school, the pillars is prayer, study, community, and service, and each grade is focused on one for their theology curriculum. But, oh yeah, that's also an added weight. The theology class, people think that it would be easier because, you know, theology, it's just Jesus, but it's not. It talks a lot about the historical parts of the church, especially like what happened. Like this past year I learned more about the Protestant Reformation, and I learned that also in my history class. So it's just, I guess, it's just an added course, basically.
Well, we came from a small school, but at my school everyone's really close because we're all, I don't know, we're all pretty focused on the same goals, so we're all pretty close, and the curriculum is very strong, which pushes us in a harder direction.
You're definitely a lot more on your own than you were in Catholic school. I don't know about other Catholic high schools, but you're definitely, like, you're responsible for your own grades. Like, nobody's gonna come and be like, you're failing, whatever. But, and it's definitely a lot harder to make real connections with people. Like, you'll have a class with someone, you'll be friends with them, but you don't really know them. Unlike in Catholic school when it's tighter knit and you create bonds more easily.
I think that in Catholic school, honestly for me, the only thing is my school is 20 minutes away from me, 30 if there's traffic. And since there's all these kids coming from different districts, it takes a while for everyone to come together. And since you make friends from all these different places, it's hard to at least like, hang out with them because they'll be so far. But that's really the only issue I think there is.
Okay.
One disadvantage of being in Catholic school would be that Catholic school is a little bit more strict than I would think. I've never been to public school, but I would think that public school is a little bit more lenient on certain things. But being that it's a Catholic school, especially my school, they're very strong about their morals and like their rules and everything. So, as in like the uniform, if we wear knee-high socks, if your socks are even a little bit rolled down, then you get a detention. You have to pull them up. So they're a little bit more strict as per dress code and rules and academics.
Well, first of all, I can wear my pajamas every day to school. That's cool. I think also, like, they offer, I feel, more courses than in Catholic school. Like, I know you can take a bunch of different forms of art. There's like music history, psychology, you can take forensics. Like, there's a whole bunch of different things to let people do what they want to do, and it's really nice. Yeah. Well, okay, so it's a little different, definitely, because it's going from like a kindergarten to 8th grade to a high school. But I definitely think that Catholic school is more restrictive on your views and your personality. Like, you can't really you don't have much, not really artistic license, but you don't have much to come out of your shell. And in public school, like, you have the ability to do that and to excel.
I love it. I don't have to choose what I wear every day. I just put it on and I leave the house. It's not that hard. But there are uniform violations which aren't that hard. Just don't wear your skirt really high.
I would say there's good and bad sides to wearing uniforms. Good, you don't have to think about what you're going to wear because you have a set code for what you're going to put on. but disadvantages, sometimes uniform is a little uncomfortable and you kind of don't want to wear it sometimes, but it is kind of a good thing. When I first went to AHA, I kind of thought that was going to be a little weird, just all girls, because coming from a smaller public school, it was a smaller private school, it was all co-ed. So coming to an all girls was a little different, but definitely we all kind of get each other because we're all girls. So we have the same, not the same morals, but we're all just like, we think similar. And I think if we were in a co-ed situation, there would be a lot more different viewpoints to go on because guys and girls think differently. So I think having it all girls, we're all kind of think alike and we're all kind of one group. I think that the curriculum in Catholic school, especially my school, is a lot more difficult. Especially my school is sponsored by the School Sisters of Notre Dame, so we have another whole curriculum that we have to go by in accordance with the general curriculum that most other Catholic schools go by. So it's a lot more developed, and it's a lot more developed, and yeah, it's a little more difficult.
I definitely think it's easier to make friends in Catholic school because it's more tight-knit. So there's not a lot of people that you're connecting with. There's only the bunch, so you get to know them. Meanwhile, in public school, I don't know everybody in my grade. Like, people will come up, and of course, since I didn't know them from middle school, like, that's another thing. But people will be like, oh yeah, you know, so-and-so, and I'm like, I've never seen that person before in my entire life. You could go your entire school year without meeting a single, a person. Yeah. I mean, it definitely was difficult because public school, it's more lax and they don't really tell you what you're supposed to be doing. So you're kind of just on your own, and especially since there was only one other girl from my class in Catholic school who went to the same school as me, that was a little hard because you don't have anyone but that one person. So it was a little difficult, but you get used to it quickly. Okay, I definitely don't think the teachers are nicer per se, but they don't care as much. So they're just there to teach, get you to learn, but they're not there to worry about what you're doing. If you're goofing off, they're not gonna care because they have other people to teach. I know my Latin teacher, she's just if you're failing, usually it's your fault because you're the one not paying attention, and I'm not going to give you special attention if you're not going to pay attention. So it's a lot more lax with the discipline, I guess.
Necessarily labeling someone as mean can't be subjected to someone in a public school or someone in a Catholic school. They're at the end of the day, they're still a teacher, and I think that their job really is to teach, so that's what they're usually prioritizing. A lot of other people, of my teachers, they'll go on different tangents and things. They'll go on different topics rather than actually teaching. So I think they are, personally, I don't have any nuns as my teachers, so they're not exactly strict on anything, but a lot of my teachers are very open-minded, and they'll listen to me, they'll talk to me, and they're always after school to help. You just have to talk to them, and they're really there to help you, at least in my school. I think my teachers are amazing.
I can't say they're mean. They're teaching, or the way they teach is just a little more constructive, and they definitely, yeah, I still can't say they're mean. I'm not sure. They teach with a higher level of respect for this. We're not their students, we're their peers in the classroom. So the teachers are a little bit more strict. I can say that in full honesty. They are a little bit more strict because I have a few nuns in my school. So, and they're a little older, so they have different styles, and they're not caught up in the ways, we use computers. They're not so easygoing with the computers, so it's a little bit more difficult in the classes.
I think that a lot of people in my school are not as open-minded to different ideas. Like, let's just say with different religions or any other thing that's like diversity. Especially because the majority of the people in my school are white. It's really hard to emphasize diversity when there's not a lot of diversity in my school. But I think that I'm lucky to have friends that are open-minded and that will allow me to be who I am and just tell me more about these things, because I know my friends none of my friends are just friends with me in school. They have friends outside of school, so they'll talk to me about their experiences outside, because some of the people I'm friends with came from a public school to a Catholic school, so it's easier for them to tell me their experiences.
I think my school is a little bit less diverse than some others. It's mainly Caucasian, but I think that there is a little bit of a diverse population, but I think that has left a lot of us out of some different experiences, because there's always different things to learn from different people. So, and not excluding race from race, but considering that most of us are Caucasian, we are, I don't want to say similar, that sounds a little harsh, but yeah, we do miss out on some experiences.
One of my first memories of being it was like during Christmas time, and I texted my friend, I was like, oh, what did you get for Christmas? And she was like, Jeanette, I'm Jewish. And I felt really bad. But yeah, there was like a whole bunch of different ethnicities. And I mean, my school is kind of on the white side, but there's definitely like a bunch of different religions and ethnicities and sexualities. And it's just a great mix. And really, it helps open your mind. It really helps you gain other people's opinions on issues, and it's really just a great environment, because your opinion isn't the only one that's right, and you learn from everybody else around you, and you learn different perspectives. So
It makes me sad sometimes, because our school isn't as involved in the Mass as I would like them to be. Personally, I'm a very religious person, and I like it when people participate, when they pray with everyone, when they're singing, rather than just watching it as if it's a play. I just wish that one of the things that my school's preaching team is working on trying to get everyone more involved in the Mass. Because a lot of people just see it as a time to get out of class, and sometimes I see it too when I'm really tired. I'm happy that there's Mass, even though it's really boring because no one is alive during that time.